Counter-Narrative News brings you daily news today on Friday the 24th of February 2023. In Palestine, the Israeli white supremacist colonial settler regime has attacked by air basically the biggest open-air prison in the world, which is known as the Gaza Strip in southern Palestine. This is following the deadly raid in Nablus conducted by the colonial regime, which has resulted in 11 martyrs in Nablus and over 100 injured, including some 82 injured by live fire from the occupation army. The European Union and Egypt has sent representatives to Gaza City in a rush to negotiate with the Hamas-ruled enclave there to quote-unquote calm tensions after the resistance in Gaza launched some attacks which are relatively quite small compared to the military might of the occupation regime. And the occupation regime responded by hitting the Al-Shati refugee camp northwest of Gaza City. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry, through the Wafa news agency, expresses disappointment in relation to the international community, arguing that the delayed manner in which the international community has responded to the growing violence in Palestine sees great disappointment from the Palestinian Authority, that they feel that there is a near total disregard for international law and the so-called process to a so-called two-state solution. Israel is clearly pushing the Palestinians by means of its growing vicious violence day by day, week by week. But why is there no uprising like there was in late 2000, what's called the second or the Al-Aqsa Intifada? There is an uprising currently, but it's not to the same extent and with the same impact of that of the second Intifada. Why is this? First of all, there is no similar leadership of the Palestinians like which they had in that period, not least of Yasser Arafat, who did turn his Palestinian Authority security forces largely into a resistance movement against the occupation. Iraq has been since destroyed by Britain and US. So has Libya. Syria has been consumed in a part Western-backed violent civil war there for the last decade. So the whole capacity politically, militarily and diplomatically of the region of North Africa and the so-called Middle East has been historically and massively strategically degraded since. Hence why we are not seeing the level of uprising from the Palestinians. We will see where the situation takes the Palestinians, but one thing is for sure, the Palestinians will not be defeated as long as they have their families and communities on their land. Going to West Africa and Burkino Faso, Thomas Sankara has been finally buried by the military junta there in a formal burial with around a dozen of his other comrades killed in October 15, 1987. Thomas Sankara ruled with his right-hand man, Blaise Compaoré, in a military coup from August 1983 until his martyrdom in October 15, 1987. Compaoré has been found guilty in absentia of being responsible for the assassination of Sankara, which he denies. Compaoré himself ruled Burkina Faso since Sankara's death for 27 years when ousted in a popular uprising. Thomas Sankara's family, on their part, disagreed with the site of the burial of Thomas Sankara, pointing to the amount of torture that took place against Sankara's comrades there. So they did not feel it was the appropriate place for this to be taken place. However, the military junta, being a military junta, has overruled the family and decided to do that anyway. Over to Afghanistan and Pakistan, finally. After 4 days of one of the most important Afghan-Pakistan border crossings at Torkham, both Islamabad and Kabul have reopened that after negotiations whereby Islamabad sent a delegation to Kabul to negotiate that. Tensions have been rising between the two neighboring states in South Asia because of the collusion and the direct relations, frankly, between the Afghan Taliban and the Pakistani Taliban, whereby the Pakistani Taliban are conducting increasing military attacks against the regime in Pakistan. However, the negotiations and the reopening of the crossing points to the fact that the two nations still have a close strategic relationships, close security alignment, and really this is a bit of a game by which sometimes this whole collusion around death squads and supremacist militias and the two respective states spills spills over in to some extent of violence, but this is pulled back because basically it's one whole racket in which the senior partners in London and Washington control. That was Counter Narrative News, bringing you daily news today. We wish you a happy Friday, Jummah Mubarak, and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.